is the largest in terms of number of units. So like I say, I just want to bring briefly what we have been shared. Okay, so I think as Eugene has shared, what is the immediate advantage of having more units? Okay, so number one is, sorry, my mouse. Okay, I look at close by developments. Which do you think have more transactions? You have one Amber, you have Esta, you have Seaview versus Amber 45, Aristo, and the Cape. Okay, which do you think have more transactions? Okay, I think it's clear lah. So there is a lot more transactions at the bigger developments. So the price growth since launch, I think you can see for yourself. One Amber, Esta, Seaview all grow by more than 200%, nearly triple. Whereas the smaller ones, the Cape 3%, Aristo 47%, Amber 45, 12%. Okay, so it's not about the tenure, it's about the number of units. When people keep saying that leasehold is better, okay, and because freehold development is so good, okay, the only reason why we are able to have a freehold development in this area is because we happen to come across a seller who own 20 over units of landed. Okay, so in other words, there's no other opportunity, I would say, to have a freehold development of this scale in the short term. Okay, unless in the future, really, some developer manage to convince one by one to sell. If not, I think this is something that is very rare. Okay, and mega freehold developments usually they appreciate the fastest. And to dispel the myth, if you look at D15, okay, freehold resale actually grow faster than leasehold resale in the last 5, 10, 15, 20 years. You go back, it always better. Okay, so it's a myth. Okay, so that's one point. We are mega freehold development. Okay, secondly is the first mover advantage. Okay, this is something that in the context of today is very important. Okay, so if you have a young buyer, you're a buyer who is looking to progress down the property line, I think the dynamics of the property market today means that buying the right thing is very important. Okay, it is very unlikely that you encounter a buyer that's pay will grow faster than the rate property price is growing. Of course, there is that. But it's not normal. Okay, it's a very small percentage that you will start to earn more money at a faster pace than the new launch market is growing. Okay, so it's very important that your first buy must make money. Okay, and I think we have given you enough ammunition that new launch is more likely to be profitable than resale properties. Okay, no doubt, there's always the argument that hey, with this quantum, I can go and buy resale, maybe even in D50 itself, lower PSF. I can with the same price, I can get a bigger unit, or I can get about same size at a much lower price. Okay, but the fact is the new launch property is more likely to be profitable than resale property over the same holding period. So if you hold property in the mindset that this is not your final home, okay, eventually you want to grow, you want to buy a bigger home in the future, you want to make money and you want to move on with life, the profit is very important. Okay, so I think I will not go on too much about this. So essentially the thing is correct. A lot of people say that if you sell high, you must buy high. But can you imagine if you cannot even sell high and you must buy high? So I repeat, so correct, it's true. Most of the time, if you sell high, you must buy high. But can you imagine in a world that you must buy high, but you cannot even sell high? Okay, so this is always a risk when you go for resale properties, because generally they appreciate slower than a new launch. They are also not as stable in a sense that you enter at a higher price than the rest of the owners. So it's not even guaranteed that the existing owners will hold the price for you. And if the market go up, everybody make money, you make less, compared to if you were a first-hand owner in a development where everybody bought at the same price. Okay, so I think I just want to give an example. My friend bought a 1.9 million. So for example, just conversational. Okay, not going to show any graph. So my friend bought a property at 1.9. Okay, currently the last transaction is 2.4. So 1.9, he came out with about 500k cash. Okay, so his loan is about 1.4 mil. Okay, assuming the latest transaction now is 2.4. So if he sells 2.4 now, he pay off his loan at 1.4 million. He take back 1.2 million. So his 500k cash has grown in 500k cash plus CPF has grown into 1 million cash plus CPF. Okay, so with this 1 million cash plus CPF, let's say on the safe side, he buy 2.8. Okay, so if the 2.8 down payment 25%, 700k, you still have a 300k safety net, no? So at 2.8, your loan probably about 9,000 each. This 300k safety net he can sustain throughout the whole SSD period. Okay, eventually he lose his job, all this, he put aside this 300k, he can pay off 36 months of mortgage payment at full, not say progressive, but let's say at full. He can pay off up to 36 months progressive payment. So he has managed to grow his assets in a way that, you know, if he has bought a resale, he probably would not have to have able to make this money, or if he put the money in a fixed D or put somewhere else, he probably wouldn't have been able to grow his that 500K into a $1 million cash in a short time span of about 3 years only. Okay, so this is the benefit. Okay, not say resale cannot make money. Okay, but when you buy a new launch, okay, that period of time between launch to TOP and the TOP spike is where the profit are the fastest, and where it is open the window for you to look for a new place and a bigger place already. Okay. Okay, so at this point of time, if you decide that, oh, I want to buy my forever home already, I got no more intention of moving, then yes, maybe you can settle for a resale then. Okay, but it's usually not a very good idea that your first home is really going to buy a resale. Huh? Usually, of course, nothing is certain. Okay, so some graphs. So, you know, Eugene has always touched on, you know, the price level support. So when you enter new launch, everybody will hold the price for you. Generally, over the first same time span, new launch will make faster. I think all these are things that I think by now you should share with your buyers. If they're still asking you the HO comparison of new launch versus resale, so if you come to even D15, you can see that the new home purchaser make more, make faster compared to the resale purchaser. Even in the last 3 years, where we see the resale market really spike. Okay, but you still don't make as much as people who enter on the first day. Okay, so the other thing is I already shared. Okay, the developer has no room to move down, and they are very eager to up price. Okay, so this exact scenario happened at key residence. Okay, in case you don't know, key residence construction is also very high because they got to build that road, cut the forest all the way through the Brookville Drive all the way out to Clementi Road. Okay, so the construction cost is also very high, even though that is the pre-construction spike. Then after that, they feel the construction cost spike somehow from COVID. Okay, so cost is very high. So of course they need to generate some momentum first. So they launch at a very realistic price, I think about 1.7. Okay, then very fast they start to increase price once that milestone has reached. Oh, I've reached this milestone that financially I'm secure already. I've collected enough 5% and 20% that I'm comfortable. Okay, it's time to move up price. So between then and now, the difference is about $400 plus, even for developer units. Okay, not and the subsale units are going even higher. So we see a very simple, a very similar scenario at Continuum. There's a lot of room for developer to up price in the future. They just want to move a certain number at the first tranche, and then after that they are okay and comfortable to up price and slowly sell already. So there's a very good window for you to get enter at a very good price. Okay, let's say so you only be paying your foundation at 4Q. Okay, the third thing that I think is quite overlooked in terms of buying new launch or, you know, buying properties. I think you must be able to forecast your future interest. Okay, so it's no use that, you know, you have everything, but eventually when you want to exit and make money, you must be a project that you think people will want to come and buy from you, right? Okay, so there's certain places that's very good for investment. Okay, but it's not very good for own stay. Okay, so when you want to sell in the future, if you're holding a 3 bedroom or even if you're holding a 2+ study, your buyer pool is very limited. Maybe they're only investors, and investors generally do not want to enter resale. Number one. Number two is, even if they want to enter resale, they will probably press the price down. They'll probably look at the rental yield, they use the rental as a gauge. And this is an abnormal market in terms of rental yield. So if we expect things to normalize, then, you know, it's not likely that when you exit, you appreciate as much as you think it has the potential to in a very investment heavy area. Okay, but whereas in the homestay area, you know that there's always people that will want to come and stay. You can think for yourself, you know, hey, who will be my future buyers? Okay, in short. Okay, so number one, I think D50 is the crown jewel of the East. Okay, I think it's the preferred destination of many Eastern people. Okay, if you ask 10 people that stay in the East, Tampines, Bedok, Tanah Merah, Pasir Ris, in the East, where's the favorite part? Where would you want to stay in the future? I think at least 8 will tell you is D15. Okay, maybe different part, maybe Mayor, Amber, Katong, maybe different part. But I would say minimum 8, maybe 7, 8 will tell you their preferred destination is D15. So when people in the East, they want to upgrade, D15 is always the priority. And this is why the demand for D15 is always high. Okay, so not I say one, put it in terms of numbers. So out of 1,087 resale transactions in the RCR last year, 47% are in D15. So it's a very clear showcase of how popular it is. And when it's popular, price will grow fast. So the RCR average price growth is 49%. In D15, it grew 70%. So it's the best performing district in the RCR. Okay. Then in D15 itself, okay, you must think. So people that want to buy D15 or people who want to stay in D15 are already here or want to buy things, uh, what are they looking for? And I think it's quite clear lah, huh? When people come to D15, generally they prefer freehold titles. So it's quite important that the Continuum is holding a freehold title compared to some competitors upcoming or current that don't have freehold titles. Okay, we also in 1 km to 3 good schools. I think this is also very important. Okay, before I became a parent, I always tell people, hey, where got people go and buy a house just for a school? Okay, I bought a house just for a school. Okay, so this is really, really very true. Okay, I think all the parents will understand. And if you're within one click to a good school, there will always be buyer demand. Okay, and in terms of value, I think tengah people say it will cause prices to bump up to 10 to 15%. Okay, research report by NUS previously say that if you are within one click to a good school, your premium will probably be about 8.5 to 12.2%. Okay, because there is people that will always want to stay near a good school, so got monetary value as well. Okay, there's zero new and modern developments with more than 400 units in our area. So I think in the future, okay, 5 years from now, 4 years from now, anybody that want to move into the Tanjong Katong area, looking for freehold, looking for one click from school, looking to upgrade, okay, I think generally it will funnel into the Continuum as priority. Okay, whether they can afford or not, whether they in the end, there's a listing that they want or not is nobody can say that. But I think if you put on your thinking cap and crystal ball look in the future, I think it's very possible that this will be the most sought after project in D15 in 4 5 years time. So there will be high demand. High demand equals high transaction equals high appreciation. So all these things is step by step already shown to you. Okay, and last but not least, I think I just want to drone on a bit on our entry price. Okay, it's extremely undervalued. Okay, so number one, okay, you can see that not can see that. I think over the preview, I also keep hearing people say that, hey, 2007, 2008, a bit high. Is not wrong, as in 2007, 2008 is in the void of a comparison. Yes, is maybe you look at it instinctively, you think it's high, but when you compare to other things, actually it's very reasonable. Number one. Number two is I have not come to a new launch in the last 15 years where I talk to buyer or I talk to agent and they tell me it's cheap. Okay, it has never happened. Okay, I think generally will come the new launch is always setting a new benchmark. The only question is how much more you can earn from this new benchmark. Okay, even if you look at as far back as 2006, okay, when you enter one Amber and Seaview, it's about 50% higher than the average D15 resale prices. But now, if you are still holding, you're probably sitting on about $1.5 million in profit if you own a 3 bedroom. Okay, so at no point in time will you come to a new launch and you think that the price is cheap. Okay, but the question is, relative to the market, is the price good?